Good afternoon, New York Yankee fans and fans of fans abroad. What's going on, Sean? What a crazy! It's looking like a crazy day today in sports. We had a legend, unfortunately, that passed away, which we'll get into in a minute. We had a Ranger icon being traded. All sorts of stuff going on in the NBA. The Yankees picked up, oh, what a surprise, another left-handed hitter.
All right. And the Jets hired a new head coach, a former head coach, but a new offensive coordinator. And among other teams, they're hiring or signing their offensive coordinators to contracts. Wow, they're getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Was yeah, the Jets in the Super Bowl, they don't match.
No,
We won't get on that. We won't get on that. But
but hey,
anyway, everyone, at 4 o'clock, we're going to have it's one guest that I'm really excited for. I'm excited for everybody, but Phil Cuzzi, Major League Baseball's incredibly great umpire, will be on. I would, it's just absolutely insane what's going on today. Tell us another trade or two, Sean.
yeah. So you had like this monster 8 player involved trade, but it centered around star Anthony Davis. The Mavs sent him to the Wizards. I guess 8 players involved, and there were like 5 draft picks involved. I'm not sure on full all of the details, but Anthony Davis is now a Wizard. There was also a trade with Jared McLean was sent to Oklahoma City. Um, that happened today, and they happened to be like almost like successively trades. And so yeah, you're looking at you know all these players are getting traded for either another player or it's like a whole multiplayer deal with draft picks. So it's all going to be interesting. And basically, like meaning a whole lot of teams are going to look different after this trade deadline.
Yeah. Do you see the Knicks doing anything?
I think the Knicks are going to be they're going to kind of stay put because they got a lot of team chemistry going on. That's good, a good type of team chemistry. You don't want to mess with that. If they do add someone, it might be a bench guy. But if you trade the wrong person, and that can take all that clubhouse energy or team chemistry out the window. So I think it'd be best if they just stick pit with what they got and make their best run.
Yeah, no, really, it's just crazy. It's that, and then what do you make? What do you make of the Yankees again stockpiling left-handed outfielding hitting? I mean, does this make sense at all?
It
I mean, I
only
don't
makes
understand.
it only makes sense because we're looking for a right-handed bat if we're going to make trades. And this is just I really believe this is a def move with this Ishquel or however you pronounce his name.
Hmm.
Um, this guy is an outfielder, but he's probably a fourth outfielder or triple A guy that they can have. And man, but it's got to be that they're stockpiling to trade from a strength with like the outfield prospects and for pitching depth. That's the only way it makes sense because I mean, there's all this talk about them wanting to reunite with Miguel Andujar, but then you go and bring in a left-handed outfielder, but you kept saying you're looking for righty bats. You're too left-handed heavy.
Yep.
So why get another guy? But it's got to be that Cashman's got to trade up his sleeve.
We got breaking news, Sean. Chris Paul was just been traded to Toronto Raptors.
Wow.
More to come. It's coming from. I'm not sure. It's one of our new people that have joined NY Yankee Mania. I'm sorry at this point because we're making new links and everything. So but we are getting the report now. Everyone, it's just nuts. I'm
Yeah.
so happy we have Howie Carpenter coming on tonight, and we'll dissect everything that goes on at 7. It's going to be a great show, everyone. This one is absolutely going to be fabulous with Phil Cuzzi. But I want to get into first off, very, very sad news. The baseball world lost a really legend, a great pitcher, Denny McClain of the Detroit Tigers, has passed away today, and it was a very, very, very sad day. 85 years old. He was part of the machine that they had I'm sorry, not the, oh my God, because I was looking, it's Mickey Lolich. Oh my God, God forgive me. I'm sorry, guys. I have so much on my mind. Mickey Lolich passed away today, guys. He was part of the Denny McClain era. He was in the World Series, 68. He played for the Mets 1 year. I believe it was 1976. So sorry to the family of Mickey Lolich, the friends, and the Detroit Tigers baseball team. We lost a very good pitcher. He won 217 games. He was a little stocky, but he had some great stuff, guys. He really did, and we baseball world lost a very, very good person and a good guy. So we want to give condolences to the Lolich family. So we're very, very sorry.
Yeah. And I guess we're just having some technical difficulties, guys. With our chat box isn't working.
You mean people? What? Let me see.
I'm not seeing anyone listed
Yeah.
in the chat.
It could be. It could be. I don't know. If somebody out. Well, Sean, you want it? Well, I'm going to type something. Well,
I see.
We're able to put something in. I don't know what's
Right.
going on. Can you see anything?
I all I see is the text, the messages that you sent. I don't see anybody else in the chat.
Right. So all right. Well, there's really not much I can do on that end. Send something. Send hello on there just in case.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay. Actually, Sean, can you log off for a minute so you're not on it, and then do it because we just want to make sure that everything is good, and then come right back.
You want me to log off the chat?
Yeah, log off. That's the only way I could send a message, because it's not possible that we have all these people in the chat and nobody saying anything or writing anything. So the only way we're going to find out is you have to get off, and you make believe you're just out there just saying hello. So by doing that, I can get an idea, and then I can send out something to the fans. And I'll have to tell them to send us their questions through the email. So log off, and then come right back. Log off, write something in there, and then come back.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can. Because it's not letting me log out.
Then there's something wrong with there's something wrong with the feed.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought something else came in. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Sean, take over for a minute. I'm gonna. Oh, hold on a sec. Okay. Hey, our star of the show is here, and we're going to it. Unfortunately, we have this little trouble in the chat. So everyone in the chat, just instead of putting it there, put it in our email at joeyankees28@gmail.com. joeyankees28@gmail.com, and we'll ask the questions to Phil from there. So we're very sorry, folks, but this is an issue going on in StreamYard or YouTube. It's not on our end. And before I bring him up, Phil, give me a thumbs up. We can bring you up. All right. Well, Sean, we are ready for our star of the show, my paisan, Phil Cuzzi, one of the best umpires I've seen in my 35 years of watching Major League Baseball. How you doing, Phil? So excited to have you on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Wow.
When you said that the best that you've seen in 30 years, it reminds me of the time I was walking out of San Diego Stadium, and who was it? Anyway, it'll come back to me. I had a lot of foul tips over the years.
We understand that.
Tony La Russa. I was thinking it was the first year Tony La Russa was working for the league, and I see him as I'm walking out, and I had the plate that night, and he said, "Phil, I'll tell you what, I don't think I saw you miss a pitch." And I said, "Oh, thank you, Tony." And he said, "Of course, I was watching the football game on the in the booth." But anyway,
yeah, that's Tony. That's Tony's logic. I know. That's awesome. But first of all, I know we're 2 months in there, but Happy New Year to you and your family and friends and everyone. I hope you had a great holiday season. It's hard to believe a month is already gone, and moving forward. Are you excited with the baseball season right around the corner? And I want you to, I want to get to your journey. I mean, I know you started in 1991. I know you've done a World Series in 2017. You've done so much, and you're an incredible umpire, and we really appreciate you. So take us through the journey of, how did it just happen, Phil, that, you just said, you know what, I'm going to do this. Maybe I'm not going to play ball, but I'm going to be an umpire in Major League Baseball. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, it wasn't something that I thought about as a kid. As a kid, every kid wants to grow up and be a player, right? And
right.
And I, of course, I played since Peanut League here in Belleville, New Jersey. But I played in high school. I played in college until I kind of blew out my shoulder, and I became a school, and I was at college. So I said, what am I going to do? I came here to play, but I'm not going to play anymore. So I figured I may as well get an education. Actually, my first job was a school teacher. I was a school teacher. I taught graphic arts in a junior high school. And it was just, I said, I loved it. I enjoyed the job. I didn't think I wanted to do it forever. I didn't think I wanted to always have a summer job. And so after doing it for about 4 years, I had my tenure, and I said, I just want to make a little more money. I did nothing against school teachers. I was great. I did enjoy it. And I went into sales for about a year, and I was making more money. I said, but, it doesn't really excite me. The pinnacle was closing an order, and that really wasn't lighting me up. So I went to Yankee Stadium. I was with my buddies one night. For whatever the reason, I don't know what it was, I just started watching the umpires rotating around the field. And I said, now that would be a good job. And my buddy next to me said, I see in the sporting news, there's advertisement for umpire schools. And I rode away, and that was the beginning of a long journey, because it wasn't easy. But that's how I really got started.
And now with the family, how was it for you? Basically traveling all the time and the grind of being here, being there. How did you judge being with family and whatever was around you, kids or nephews, nieces, parents? Big. How does that happen? How do you juggle that?
Yeah, that's the toughest part about the job. Fortunately for me, I was still relatively young. I was not married, so I didn't have a family of my own. So, and I remember working. My first year in the minor leagues was 1985 in the New York Penn League, and I was working with guys who were married. One guy just had a kid, and that was very difficult for him. But for me, I was just a young guy, so all that stuff, it really didn't affect me because I was just young, traveling around, having a good time. We didn't know what we didn't know in the minor leagues, and that was it. Fast forward to the big leagues and being married and having a family. That was the toughest thing. It was the tough part about the job. Being away for birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. But you just got used to it. That was part of the job, and it's a downside to every job. There's something.
Oh yeah.
And
but I don't think you have a downside, Phil, because it's such an exciting. I mean, you're in every stadium imaginable. You're in the this is the major leagues. You can't get any higher than this, my friend. I mean, and you've done an incredible job. I've seen so many of your games. Sometimes when I covered at Yankee Stadium or wherever, and just watching it on TV, and I got to tell you, and not because you're Italian. I want to get it straight with everybody. I'm not biased.
Yeah,
I'm not biased, but no, really, thank you so much for your hard work and everything that you do on the field for the players, for everybody you work with, and so I just want you to know that it doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, sometimes the fans go there, obviously they go a little nuts, but the job that you personally do does not go unnoticed.
It's living a dream. I lived a dream, and there's no better way to describe it. And like any job, there's ups and downs, there's grinds, and there's but in the big scheme of things, it was a difficult road, to get there, but that's the best way I could describe it, is by saying that I lived my dream.
Phil, we're getting the questions through our email of the show because something's going on with the chat, unfortunately. But I do have a few here. Do you mind answering a couple of questions?
Not at all.
All right. Well, we got an Italiano here, Bob Rizzo. Bob asks, "What is the hardest part of your job, and what stadium is your favorite?"
Well, the hardest part of the job is really, just the fact that you have to do it every single day, and you have to be good every single day. And it doesn't matter if it's a Yankee Red Sox series or if it's a White Sox, I mean, I don't know who were the two bottom teams in the standings this past year. So it doesn't matter. And that was the first thing that they really had to learn, that no matter what you did, it had to be like this. Like you couldn't get more excited about working a Yankee Red Sox series, or a I don't know, pick a like a St. Louis Cubs series, which is just as crazy to them out there as the Red Sox and Yankees here. So I think it's just maintaining, the highest caliber that you possibly can every single day. And
right.
Yeah. And the second part of the question was
and what's your favorite stadium?
Oh, every stadium has something to offer. Of course, I'm from Jersey, so for me, working Yankees or Mets, it was like being home. I was able to, I'm off the road, and I'm commuting that from home, so I'm sleeping in my own bed. So that's a big plus. But I always liked working the day games in Wrigley. I liked working in Fenway. I remember as a like when I was in college was probably the first time I went to Fenway Park. And of course, growing up, I grew up a Yankee fan, Met fan. And, so you automatically thought you had to hate the Red Sox. But the first time I went to Fenway Park, I said, I can't hate these guys. Look at this stadium. It's beautiful. So, but every city has something to offer, whether it's a restaurant or just like a hotel general manager, so it's difficult to say, but of course being home, being commuting, that's a plus.
Well, you got another one now. Charles asks, "What's the biggest thrill you've had of so far in Major League Baseball?" And thank you so much for coming on our show.
Well, it's my pleasure. To pick one thrill, I would have said that getting the call to work my first game, which was June 4th, 1991. You never forget that, in St. Louis against the Dodgers. That was my biggest thrill until I worked my first World Series. Or before that, it was working my first postseason game. So, but of course, working the World Series is the pinnacle of what everybody's working for. So that certainly was a thrill.
Sean, you want to shine in?
Yeah, so I mean, you covered 30 years, one of the best umps. Um, one of the most respected umps in the sport. And how has the sport changed over the years?
Oh, from when I started, again, really can't compare the minor leagues, but that was in 85. But even, my first game in the big leagues, like I said, 91. Think about how much it's changed just off the top of the head, replay, pitch clock, throwing over like a pickoffs, only two, to a hitter. Hitter could only have one timeout. Those type of things. And now this coming season, I'm sure there's going to be challenges of pitches, which is, that talk about a change. There's been, even the strike zone has changed so much since I started. I came up National League. When I first started, if you called a pitch at the belt, it better be right down the middle, because that was considered high. And, we worked off the corners, and that's just the way it was. The hitters knew it. As a young umpire, I learned it. But, so the strike zone certainly has changed, and it's gonna change even more this coming year, because the pitches are going to have to be thrown on the plate. We always got a little buffer, with our scoring, which is different than the box that you see on TV. But the game, I think one of the best changes at first, being a purist, you say, well, now we're going to have a pitch clock. Baseball is not supposed to have a clock, but everybody got used to it. In the beginning, it was a learning curve, but it took a half hour off game time, which is a huge deal. And they were trying for years to try to shorten the games, but not necessarily shorten them, but just kind of keep the pace going. And the pitch clock did that. So some of the changes were good, and some of them were a little more difficult to swallow. Such as replay. Replay is great, but there's a downside to every medication, right?
Yes.
Right.
The downside to replay, from my perspective, you have, and you see, how it changed the game even for infielders, especially middle infielders. They keep the tag on a steal, but you have a play that wasn't even that close. Say a guy hits a double, and he slides in, and there's not even, it's such a wide open play that you make a very casual safe call. And then all of a sudden you see the dugout manager doing this, and you say, I know what that means. It means that he popped off the base for a split second, that much. And
we need to see that, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of the downside of that. That isn't what replay was for, but of course, replay is replay. So,
right.
Long answer to the question. So many changes in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. From 1991, definitely. You have a question here from Teresa, and Teresa asks, first of all, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. As a fellow Italian, she says, first of all, what part Italian are you, and what's your favorite dish?
Well, let's see. So my mother's father came from Sicily.
All right.
Her mother came from Naples, and my father's mother and father came from Pescara, Abruzzi.
Wow. Bruno San Martino country. There you go. Awesome.
My favorite dish, impossible to pick one. It depends on the city, and it depends on the town. One of the best cacio de pepe dishes I get is a place called Farina in Kansas City. Pizza is a whole nother story. But yeah, no favorite dish. I like it all.
Yeah. I mean,
No, she has an extra to it. She said, "Thank you for that." But and I would just like to know, with the pitch clock, does it make the umpires feel uncomfortable that, let's say it is a wrong, let's say they reverse the, how do you feel? How does an umpire feel when they reverse the call, when it should be from the naked eye? How do you respond to that?
Well, she mentioned pitch clock, so I don't know if she means a pitch clock or challenging of pitches, which we experimented with in spring training last year.
Right.
And
That's what she meant.
yeah, it's the same. The pitch clock challenge is something completely different. It's new. As I said, we experimented with it in spring training, and I think that during the regular season when it's used, I think that they'll be a little more selective about when they decide to challenge. But the answer to the question, how do you feel about it? You feel terrible. I mean, same thing as challenging plays on the bases. If you miss a play, and we all do, you feel terrible that it's up on the board and you see it, and sometimes it's so close that you're just not sure, what the jury's going to come back. And sometimes it happens where you call it, and maybe you call it too quickly, and you say, "I know I missed that," and sure enough, they challenge it, but you feel terrible about it. Nobody likes to make a mistake, and it's like ask a hitter how he likes. What does he feel when he strikes out with the bases loaded? The tying run was on second, or the winning run was on second. So,
well, she just wrote again. She said, "I just feel like the umpires. I mean, they have a job to do, and it's with the naked eye, and they're challenging it. If they change it, then it's a wrong call on both parts, because baseball is supposed to be with the naked eye." And she's really determined. She said that's not right. It should be the way it was all the way up to 3 years ago. And it is what it is. The umpire has the final say, and that's it. That's what baseball's all about.
Teresa, I vote for you.
I think she doesn't mind that. She goes, "Thank you very much." Kevin has a question for you, and he says, "If, let's say I heard you say you're a Yankee fan, whatever, growing up. How do you distinguish the both when you're doing a Yankee game and they're up against the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium, knowing in the back of your mind you're a Yankee fan? How do you block that to do? I mean, obviously you're an incredible professional, but how do you block that and say, oh my God, this call might make the Yankees lose or something like that? How does I'm telling you, they're letting you have it. They want to know what you feel.
Listen, that's a fair question. But there's a huge distinction between growing up a Yankee fan or a Red Sox fan or a Cardinal fan. Let's face it, every umpire comes from somewhere. So, and if he didn't love baseball growing up, he probably wouldn't have attempted to be an umpire. So we were all fans at some point. But I can promise you that it's a natural evolution that occurs. I could care less if the Yankees win, even though, when I was a kid, and I've shown my age, I was a Mickey Mantle fan and Roger Maris, I could care less if the Yankees win now. It's a natural thing that occurs. My job, this is my job. My job is to get everything right. It's an impossible goal because we're never going to get everything right. But I just want to get every pitch, every play right. I don't care who's it goes against or in favor of.
That's a great answer. Great answer. And I hope you're satisfied with that, because that is the truth. And my God, you got it straight from the horse's mouth. It's incredible. So thank you, Phil, for that. We really appreciate. With the potential, now this is coming from Ava. Ava asks, with the potential of a lockout strike, what do the umpires do during a strike? And have you been through a strike, which I believe you have?
Well, what was it a few years ago when the contract to the players was delayed, so everything was pushed back. But
Hmm.
there's talk about is there going to be a work stoppage in 2027? Um, what do we do? The umpire, there's nothing that we can do. It has nothing to do with us. Um, if there's a stoppage, we don't work. When they sign a deal, we'll go back to work. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and all indications are, like I've been telling the fans on the show, Phil, that enjoy this year with the passion because we don't know what's coming. And
Yeah.
when you crown a world champion in October 31st, November 1st, whenever it is, that could be it for a while. And it's scary, it's sad. Nobody wants that. Nobody at all. And it's just a shame that we got to go through this, over and over. You would think it'd be learned, because baseball is so heavy now. It's one of the greatest sports you ever. I mean, obviously, you know that. And to just realize that they could just put a lockout on it, it's just very sad. It sends me to no end.
Yeah, it's most unfortunate. It's bad for everybody, both sides, the fans especially. But it is a business, and it's run like a business. And hopefully, I mean, we're a long way from there. But you know how the time
Yes.
goes; the time flies by. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Hopefully, they cooler heads will prevail, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
As an umpire, let's say, I mean, obviously with your crew, do you already know exactly where you're going from April all the way up to November, or do you get a schedule month to month, or how does that work? That's another question from John from Brooklyn.
Yeah, John, we do get the schedule for the entire year, and the way it happens is we will receive, what is it, 18 schedules, and then based upon the seniority of the crew chief, then they bid on the schedule, and
Oh
so
wow.
once all that is complete, um, short answer is we do know where we'll be going, every day until last series of the year,
Wow.
The, the
which is
next
a tremendous help for us because it would be difficult, especially with the way flights are. There's not as many flights as there used to be. Every once in a while we'll get stuck in a city. The best thing for us is a day game, the last day of that series, whether it's a weekday or a Sunday. So usually on a Sunday, except for the Sunday night game. And if we had to go week to week or month to month, it's very difficult to make plans. We have to make flights. We make our own flights. We have to use baseball's travel agent, but um, we do same thing with hotels. We stay wherever we want, but we have to still make our own reservations. So, could you imagine if we didn't have a schedule, for the entire year, and then
wow.
we had to try to get a room for up in Boston for when the Yankees come into town, and we didn't know until a few weeks before that we were going there, it would be impossible.
Yeah.
Sean, you have a question before I get to a couple more from the email? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know there's another thing you guys have to do too, and that's that checking the pitchers when they're coming off the mound and you know, every inning or a half inning.
For the gooey stuff.
Yeah, for the sticky stuff. And I know that that's to enforce to make sure that there's no one's cheating, but I know that's gotta add extra stress to your job already, which is already stressful.
Yeah, we talked earlier about how the game has changed. That's another thing that we never had to do. And if you think it's pleasant in the middle of August in St. Louis to have to feel a pitcher's hand and glove and hat perhaps with sweaty and everything else, but yeah, but that's another way that the game has changed, and that's we adjust.
You have a question now from Danny. Danny asks, when you're on the field and it's like 100 degrees and you guys just relentlessly have to stand up for 3-4 hours, how do you get through that when at least the players could go sit down, they go into air condition, they do this, they do that, but the umpires can't? I mean, aside from water, how do you get through it? Is it a mindset that you go through? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, hot is hot and cold is cold. This past season, having to work the Yankee games in Tampa, an outdoor facility, it was really a challenge. And we only went there once, and it was in August. And the Saturday that I had the plate, I mean, it was in the upper 90s, but it was cloud cover. So I was lucky. I was fortunate. There's no way around it. You just have to fight through it. On the Sunday, I was working. Dan Bellino had the plate, and it was hot, sunny, again, upper 90s. And he actually got sick after the game. I mean, he threw up, and he just had, I don't say it was heat stroke. Paramedics had to come in, and he got through the game. But, you have to just fight through it. And, we've had guys that had to leave the field because of dehydration or something like that. So it's really, and we have these ice packs that we could wear, working the plate, and it slips under between your shirt and your chest protector. And that helps. They only lasted like maybe 3 innings, and then the clubhouse guy will switch it out. So there's little things like that can help to get us through. But hot is hot.
We had a show early on in the season about what you're saying about the chest protector. Do you think that the one that you guys used to have outside was better or worse than what's going on, what you have now? Do you guys miss that at all?
Well, when I came up, we couldn't use it. And it was kind of grandfathered in on the American League side, but the National League guys could never wear it. And I think it offered more protection. But if you ask, an old timer from the American League, he would tell you that they had to work so high that it was difficult for them to see the low pitch. And I think that's how it started. If you remember, it was always said that, well, the National League umpires call the low strike and the American League umpires call a higher strike. And how true it was. But I think if it had any merit to it, it could have been because the outside protector, they worked high and they worked right over the catcher's head, as opposed to with the inside protector, as I and all my contemporaries were trained. We worked in the slot area, and that means the area between the hitter's head and the catcher's head. So in between that area was known as the slot, and that's where we would position ourselves. So
Nora has an interesting question. Thank you, Nora, for it. Says, first of all, Phil, thank you for coming on. She doesn't get too often. She watches us all the time. But when she heard an umpire was coming on, she always wanted to ask an umpire this question. And that is, when you're behind the plate and somebody's throwing 100 miles an hour, how do you get over worried about you? I mean, that catch has really got to protect you. Is there any fear at all, or there's no fear at all?
Well, at this stage of the game, I wouldn't say that it's a fear, but they're throwing a ball at you 100 miles an hour. You have to have a good relationship with your catcher, but I wouldn't say it's a fear. You kind of, and now there's so many guys who are throwing 100. When I first came up, Billy Wagner was the first and only guy that I ever experienced, 100 miles an hour. And again, this was my first year. I think I might have even been a AAA guy coming up and down. So in the minor leagues, we didn't really see that. But that was the first time I saw that. And actually, I don't know how to describe it, but my eyes kind of popped. And the first time I saw the pitch, it was 100. I kind of saw like floaters, like stars in front of me after, and I remember just thinking, well, that sounded like a strike, so I'm going to call it. But, now not everyone, but there's so many more guys that are throwing 100. So I wouldn't say it's a fear. Just if you think the catcher is having a rough day, or if it's a young catcher where you're really not sure, how experienced he is, then there might be a little bit of concern.
And she also adds to that, and I'm very sorry, Phil, that I have to look down a little bit because it's the only way I can get the question. So I apologize for that.
That's all right. You got some fast typers there.
Added to the question, which, in your opinion, is the hardest base to call? First, second, third, or home?
Yeah, there's home, of course, is I think where the most concentration, because you're on every pitch. Now then you could say, well, how often do you have a play at third base? So is third the easiest? Just when you think that third may be the easiest, you may have screamer line drives hit at your feet, or you may have pole benders, like that, or you may have a tie ball game and a guy hits a double and he's trying to stretch it into a triple, and it might be the 8th inning and you haven't had a call yet, but now you have to, this might be the call of the game. But I think in that sense, it's harder using the example of third base, because, you kind of, not that you've just been standing around doing nothing, but you may not have had a call. And now all of a sudden you have a big one. Whereas first base, you're going to get a bunch of plays at first base during the course of a game. Home plate, that every single pitch, you have a decision to make. So you don't have time to let down when you're, or your mind can't wander when you have home plate. So every position has an added, an added challenge.
That's true. That's true. Sean, before we get to a couple more questions, you have a question for Phil?
Yeah, now you got some of these teams in the major leagues using AAA parks as their, home ballpark, while they're like the Athletics, they're still transitioning to Las Vegas, so they're using Sacramento. But does that make it harder? Because I know the foul poles are different than like the major league ones, and so then you get a 117 mile per hour, ball exiting the stadium, but it's hard to tell. So how do you guys adjust to like that?
Yeah,
that's fine.
We were all pleasantly surprised about how, we were expecting the worst when we went to Sacramento, but it really wasn't that bad at all. It really wasn't. It was, other than like, in most ballparks, we walk up our tunnel and we're either behind home plate or coming out by first or third base. In Sacramento, we had to come out behind the center field fence. So
wow.
And everybody did, not just us, but both teams did as well. So, we had to get to the plate. We had to walk the length of the field from center field. But that aside, we were pleasantly surprised about how nice the facility was. And and no matter where you are, even I equate it to working World Series. You work in my first World Series, and of course you're a little excited, you're nervous, but once the first pitch comes, then it's the same. It's the same game. It's the same job.
Well, yeah,
wow.
I knew this question was definitely coming up. This is from Charles, who's a longtime historian, Yankee fan. You ejecting somebody who's been the most, and how do you feel about how do you feel when you eject someone?
Well, I've never ejected anyone that didn't deserve to get ejected. The worst part about an ejection is that you have paperwork to do after the game,
like the police.
Oh man,
like any job. The worst part about any job is paperwork, right? But,
right.
We have to phone it in, and we'll speak to a recorder just to tip off the league that something happened. But ejections are part of the game, and it's just a question of, they sometimes they don't mean to get ejected. Their reaction or their emotion gets the best of them. Sometimes a manager chooses to get ejected, and that's just the way it is. It's part of the job, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Sean.
Well, no, because I've done security for 12 years, and before that I was in the army, so I understand that paperwork's like the worst part about it. Because every time a situation happens and you gotta like remove someone from a store or wherever, you gotta do paperwork and you gotta go through the whole dotting I's and crossing T's. But what was the wildest ejection or manager altercation that you've had to have?
Well, I think it comes to mind. I forget the year, but it was years ago. It was Boston in Tampa, and it was actually on my birthday, August 29th. Pedro was pitching for Boston, and the teams had trouble, and there was all kinds of throwing incidents that occurred. And I think I think Gerald Perry was the leadoff hitter, and I think that he got hit to start the game. But there were the benches emptied a handful of times. I think when all was said and done, it probably was, I don't know, 10 or 12 ejections just from that. So that was certainly unusual. That was a big paperwork night, but yeah, that's the one that comes to my mind.
Your top three players. I know you have to be objective, but I mean, off the record, your top three players that you've seen since you've been an umpire.
Well, if you talk about like the purest hitter, I would say what was the name? Hall of Famer. I should, the names again. San Diego.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. Albert Pujols was a tremendous hitter.
Did you see a lot of George Brett or no?
No.
Right.
Again, I don't know what was his last year on the field. It was probably,
I think it was like 85-ish.
Well, I think it was later than 85, but no, that I guess I meant Don Mattingly. You saw him maybe 3-4 years.
Well, again, when I first came up, I was just National League, so I don't know that, and I don't remember what year was his last year on the field. But of course, I've seen him as a coach and manager.
Yeah, 90. Mattingly retired from playing in 95 after the.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a ridiculous rule that you can only American League, National League, let everybody go around, get familiar. I thought that was a great rule change, and that's in my opinion, I thought that was it's better for you guys to be at every park because you get the feel. Some of you are going to be in the World Series, some of you are going to be in the playoffs. It's better that you know the parks before you do anything.
Yeah. The downside to that is that we don't see the teams as often. Like I would rather see a team more often because then they know you better, you know them better. There was, there again, depending on the random of any schedule. I haven't been to Citi Field in 2 years. And last season, not 25 and 24, I didn't even see the Mets on the road.
Wow.
I saw them this year on the road, but so when it was just one league, you might have saw the team, maybe 6-8 times. If we see a team 3 times now, it's a lot. So again, there's downsides and benefits to everything. As far as the travel goes, it didn't make any difference to us because whether we're going to National League cities only or both American and National League, we're at the airport just about every 3 days anyway, regardless of where the plane's going.
Right.
Wow.
Now,
go
ahead, Sean. Yeah.
Well, like off the record, I know you guys got to be objective, but do you guys ever get like amazed by when you see players do historic things, like, for instance, Judge or Otani and their historical, and then
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I don't have to be a Yankee fan to appreciate, seeing a moonshot that Judge might hit, or I don't have to be a Yankee fan to appreciate, off the bat, I think it's a base hit up the middle, and I see Jeter, diving and making a throw to over to first base that it's not even a close play for me. So of course we appreciate the great plays or the great performances.
Yeah, and great question from Michael. He says, I understand that before or after the game, the players really can't talk to you guys. Is that true?
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, we wouldn't, like a player wouldn't say, "Hey, we're going down to Joe's, meet us there for a beer." I mean, that doesn't happen. But in terms of just talking and we don't even really stay at the same hotels that they do, but every once in a while it may cross over just because. But yeah, there's nothing that says we can't talk. No.
Now, Phil, another 50 years that you do this, and we sure hope that we see a lot more of you. What do you want to be remembered when you finally say, okay, that's it, the travel, I want to be with the family, whatever? How do you want to be remembered?
Well, so obviously you guys don't know that that the day after Christmas I decided to retire. So so how do I want to be remembered?
Yeah. Congratulations. I'm so sorry. Was not told. I did not know. I am so I feel terrible. Congratulations.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah,
I notified the office the day after Christmas, but then I didn't make any announcement about it. I didn't, I was just, I always had in my mind that whenever the time came, I was going to retire. I was just going to ride off into the sunset. I wasn't going to, I even said to my family, I don't want a retirement party. I'm just going to go. But,
yeah, but Phil, come on. That's not fair. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but you have made such an impact in baseball. You should go with the little fanfare. I mean, really, you are one of the good guys that people, I mean, truly love you. And just to go away like that, I mean, hey, of course you do what you want, but you deserve kudos from a lot of people. You really do.
Well, that's nice. I appreciate it. But all those people that you say love me, when I see the veins sticking out of their neck when they're screaming at me during the game, I guess that's a sign of love. I guess. But to answer your question, the way that I, and again, it's a funny job because if you owned a business and you only satisfied 50% of your customers, you wouldn't stay in business for very long. And
do I know that?
And we could only satisfy half the people only until the next pitch or the next call. But how I would like to be remembered, I would just like to be remembered as, that they would say, you know what, nobody's perfect, but he came out, he worked hard every day, and he was fair. And beyond that, that's the best that I could hope that anyone, even detractors, may said he blew a call against my favorite team, but I know he comes out every day and works hard.
The craziest thing though, Phil, is normally I don't ask that, but Sean could tell you, I get these premonitions, especially in baseball, when a home run or something is going to happen, and it happens. It's crazy. But something told me to ask you that, and I had no reason to do it aside from the fact you got to ask him because there's going to be a good answer here. So, what is Phil Cuzzi going to be doing in the offseason during the season? Then let us know.
It's going to be a big adjustment because this will be the first time that that my wife will have me around for 12 months out of the year. And when people have asked her, our friends who know that I've retired, and people say, "Are you happy that he's retiring?" And she says, "Ask me in July." But
listen, I'm in Staten Island, so if she does anything, you're more than welcome to come here. I believe me, with all my heart, you're more than welcome. Believe me, you got Italian food all you want. No, but I mean, but that's great. No, I'm sure. Listen, I retired. I was a doorman concierge for 32 years. And I also, been doing, I started radio at 14 years old. So, and New York. So, it wasn't easy.
No.
But I had such great times, and everybody was so great. I just love it. But let me tell you, Phil, you're going to exhale. You're going to say, first of all, you're going to say, "Oh, I got to go take this flight," and then it's like, "No, I don't. I'm retired." Yeah. So, but I'm glad that you came on to tell us. I mean, that I'm very sad because we're missing out. You're so young. I mean, come on. Another year, come on.
Well, I'm not really that young. I actually became the oldest active umpire of all time on my August 29th birthday, 2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I had no idea, but I got a phone call the start of the season, or might have been spring training last year, from a reporter, and he said, "Phil, do you know what August 29th is going to be?" I said, "Yeah, it's going to be, I'm a year older." And he said, "No, you will be the oldest active umpire of all time." And I said, I can't believe that. I said, I can't believe that someone in, 1890 didn't work until he was, 90. And he said, "No, they didn't live as long back then." I said, "Well, I guess that's true." But,
wow.
Yeah, I did that. And much to my, as surprising as that was, what was really surprising to me was that Cooperstown wanted my mask from that game. I was in LA, Dodgers.
Really? So there you go. Good.
Yeah.
But
I have no business to sniff around Cooperstown, but my mask will be there. My mask is there. Yeah.
Are you completely going to just relax for 1 year and then see where it takes you, or do you have some plan? And I hope you come and join us for some games this year. We're doing a lot of the Yankee games simulcast right here on the station. So, we would love, and we've had ex-ball players coming on, and we're going to be actually on 2 channels simulcasting the play-by-play. And we would love it to get your perspective anytime, especially now that you have a little time, maybe.
I have some time. Well, we could talk about that. That might be fun.
Yes, that would be great.
I know I'm going to try to improve my golf game in my retirement. We'll see how that goes. That's not going to be easy either. But, I'm just going to see where the road takes me.
Phil, we're also doing something with obviously, Nitin, of course, Nitin and his team that brought you here, which, every guest that he brings us just gets better. I always say it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know how we top you, but it's just insane. But we're gonna be doing a charity softball or baseball game April or May, probably, hopefully, with Lindsay Berra at the Yogi Berra Museum, or where we're going to do it, and we're going to raise money for the Towers, Red Cross, cancer, and just about everybody that's struggling, whatever. And we would love it if we, we'll let you know in time, of course, if you would, maybe you can umpire, you can actually, do something. That would be an honor. That would absolutely be an honor if you would, once we get it, Nitin and I will, we'll get in touch with you if that's something that, you'd be able to do. We're trying to get so many different people to come, and Lindsay Berra is going to be, a big part of it.
I know Lindsay. I do a charity event every year for ALS. I just had my 22nd year, and
that's awesome.
Her father Larry and Lindsay comes, as well as her boyfriend Peter, and they're great. They offered, this is the second year, they offered a private tour by them to the museum, the Yogi Museum.
So great.
Yeah, no, they're good people, very generous people. Yogi, of course, was Yogi. I had a chance to meet him. And,
yes, yeah. I did in the late '80s, and oh my God, funny. He was just amazing. He really was. But if you're going to have that event, please let us know, Phil. I'd be more than happy to put it on our community all of that, because I mean, hey, if I could help you in any which way, at least you were so nice to come on with us and give your time and tell us that you're retiring. I'm a little disappointed, but I am very happy for you, because I know when a certain time, like 8 o'clock comes at night, oh, I don't have to go on the bus to go to the city. Thank God. So, and I can enjoy Yankee games and enjoy what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we would love it. So if there's anything that we could promote for you, or I'd be more than happy. And you are part of the show, and anytime you want to come in, Phil, we would love to have you. And hopefully, and definitely the next time with StreamYard and YouTube gets this thing straightened out with all the fans here that are here. I'm flooded here, but you'll be here till 9 o'clock. I'm not going to do that to you. So we would love to have you on again, if possible. And if you with anything with the ball games, to give us an umpire's perspective, that would be awesome.
Okay, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nitin would have been on, but he's at the Super Bowl. And he did promote the show for us today. So we got a great response. I put out a short, got a very nice picture of you, by the way. Awesome. And I do want to tell you one thing before you go.
Yeah.
You has anybody ever told you somebody you look like? You ready?
Go ahead.
You might let you. I'm sure you know the guy. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. But you remind me, the way you're standing right now, and I've met him quite a few times, Joe Pepitone.
Oh, Joe Pepitone. I met Joe Pepitone because, every year for my dinner, I use a mystery guest format. And this year we had Darryl Strawberry. Last year we had Don Mattingly. Years ago, in the early years, I had Joe Pepitone as my mystery guest. And
wow,
he was great. He was funny. The crowd loved him. My crowd is a Yankee Met crowd, and he told some funny stories.
Well, how I got to meet him?
No, I never heard that before. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I could see it. And I knew Pepitone because my 7th grade teacher was his aunt.
Oh, really?
So when she saw that I was like, I was into doing these things with the Yankees, she said, do you know you may know my nephew? I said, well, who is he? He said, Joe Pepitone. I went, what? I said, is there any way I can meet him? Sure, hold on. And he got him on the phone. It was like my greatest story. It was like, I believe he was with the Cubs at the time or just retiring. But that was so, and it's definitely something nice for you. I wanted to say to you, because you do. You have the mannerisms and all, but this has been great. I can't thank you enough. We wish you, NY Mania, Yankee Mania wishes you all the luck in the world. The best thing is to retire. You deserve it. You've done an incredible job for baseball. Baseball is going to miss you. We're going to miss you. But anytime you could be part of our show, Phil, with all our heart, we would love for you to come on. You, your family, God bless you, really.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. You said some very kind words. And, as an umpire, we're not always used to hearing kind words. But so thank you.
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's a real honor, a total honor to have you on. I really wish that everything was working, but unfortunately, at least everybody was doing it in the email. And the next time you come on, we're going to have everything set for you, because you deserve a great show. And I hope you enjoyed your time here.
I did. And you're worried about the way, the mix up with the, but you handled it fine. They typed it in, you relayed the message and, the question, and no issue.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. Sean, final words for Phil?
Yeah, Phil, you're a legend. And one day you're going to have a call from Cooperstown.
Oh, no. They wanted my mask. That's it.
That's it. Well, hey, no, you're Hall of Fame in my books. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, thanks for 30 years of,
And honestly, baseball's going to miss you, man. We're all going to miss you.
I appreciate it, guys. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon, okay? Please.
Yeah, sounds good.
And God bless you and your family, and stay healthy and well.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Right.
Thank you.
Take care.
What an interview, guys! Wow. Thank you, chat. Sorry about what happened with the writing, but you guys were great on the emails. We appreciate it. This happened one other time with Andrew Jones, unfortunately, but it happens. It's live TV, everyone. Sean, that was great. We were he was awesome.
Oh yeah, no, he was awesome. No, you guys are awesome. You were awesome. It was a great time.
Sorry, I didn't want to talk. I wanted to talk less, but because I'm looking at the questions, I don't want to disappoint anybody in the chat. I don't want to going back and forth.
Hey, no worries. We all handled it. Everybody pivoted quickly. Crisis was averted, and and one day we'll get them back and on here for another interview, and all that stuff will be worked out. But yeah,
well, we broke a story. Phil Cuzzi is retiring.
Hey, yes. No, third time we've done that because we called the Andrew Jones election into the Hall of Fame. Right. When we were interviewing. Then you got to break the news with Catalina.
Yes, Catalina invited brought Robin into the into the
so you got to break that as well right there.
Wow.
Right there in real time. And then now Phil Cuzzi had announced his retirement for the day after Christmas, last Christmas. So but yeah.
They say things comes in threes. So there you go. There's your three guys. Well, that was very nice. I mean, he didn't have to say that, so I guess he felt comfortable. And I feel honored. And guys, you should feel honored too. A man of 30 years in Major League Baseball basically announces his retirement on NY Yankee Mania. I couldn't be more proud.
Yep.
I feel very, very honored. And I'm so happy that we had a lot of people in the chat. We had a lot of people watching this. And if you didn't, just go back to the show now. If you tell your friends and family, well, NY Mania broke a story. Phil Cuzzi from Major League Baseball, after 30 years of umpiring, has retired. And we were the first one to get the news, aside from Major League Baseball. So,
well, we got it before, because I don't know Major League Network ever.
Yeah, really.
Major League Baseball Network.
So I'm touched. I feel that is amazing, Sean. What a day.
Yeah.
There's a lot we got to talk about to Howie Carpenter about in 2 hours. Oh my God.
And you know what? It's gonna be legendary because all that NBA news, all the NHL news, all the Yankee news, and then now Phil Cuzzi
retiring, and the unfortunate Mickey Lolich passing. It's been a crazy day. Wow.
Yeah.
But mostly all good. A little sadness, a lot of sadness when you lose somebody. And it's never that you're young or old. You never want to lose somebody. People say, "Oh, he had a good life." And listen, we all want to be. I know it's impossible, but we all want to be here as long as possible. They came out with a great soap opera called "As the World Turns," and that's basically what we are. We turn with the world. We go around and around and around. And yeah, it could be 80 years, it could be 90 years, it could be 100 years. I forgot his name, but there is a living Yankee right now that is 100 years old. The name escapes me right now, but we'll bring that up with Howie. I'm pretty sure that we'll get it tonight. But no, this was amazing, and Sean did a great job. And it's like we were doing this forever because we didn't panic. Like you said, everything went, and thank God for the emails. I mean, because I would have been very, very sad if people couldn't ask their questions. At least we got about 11 or 12 nice, good questions out from us, from them, from the chat. So we apologize. I already put in a note to StreamYard to get this darn thing fixed for 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to come on a little bit, probably come on a little bit earlier. We'll check the chat to make sure that everything is working. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you now, Sean, before you log on, say something in that chat so that actually you can do that right now. If you go to that to the stream that we're going to go on, or when we go off, and just type there, and then I could, as long as I see it working. But again, folks, I apologize, but it did come out. I did get as many questions as I could to Phil Cuzzi, and he was brilliant, and we were all brilliant, and I appreciate it. So final word, Sean, because we're going to be coming back in 2 hours.
Yeah, guys. No, thanks to Phil Cuzzi and also Nitin and his team. That was a great interview. Legendary. I mean, he is a legend. Very rarely do you get to hear an umpire's perspective, but that was awesome. Sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties, but we managed to work through them. Thanks for submitting your questions through the email, and we were able to ask them, and you guys did great. And hey, come back tonight at 7 p.m. when we're gonna have
Howie Carpin.
Howie Carpin, yeah. And you guys, hopefully by then it'll be all fixed up. But hey, either way, we're gonna have a wild time, and together we're in it for the long haul.
We're in it to win it, baby. We're in it to win it. So stick with us. Thank you so much. We will see you in 2 hours. Have a good dinner. Have a good walk, whatever you're doing. We appreciate you being here, and we'll field your questions later. We're going to check everything out now to make sure that everything is working well. And I'm going to put, if you go on the stream, guys, in like 10 minutes, you'll go on there. I'll put something there that says chat is working. Once we see that, you see that, we're good to go, and you can leave your questions for Howie Carpin. So thank you, everyone. God bless you all. God bless America. Please, God bless Phil Cuzzi for a wonderful, wonderful retirement. He deserves it. And please, everybody around the world, stay healthy. We love each and every one of you. We'll see you in 2 hours. Sean, have a great one. We'll see you in 2 hours also, of course. Take care,
All right.
everyone.